Hello guys, today I will share a movie with you titled Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Brace yourselves because this is a very good one. When the movie started, John Smith and James Smith were a couple talking to a marriage counselor about their marriage life. They can't even properly remember how long they've been married, and they talked about their sex life, how long ago they had sex, and the counselor asked them when they first met. Then, then we later got to the scene and they were interrogated and they pretended to be couples. They later went out for a drink and they asked each other what they do for a living, and later they ended up falling in love and they decided to get married. Fast forward 5 or 6 years ago, they now live as couples but like strangers because they hardly have time for each other. They're both fed up with the marriage. John later went to see the counselor alone and he told the counselor that they're having a little bit of issue, and she said that it's nothing serious, but both of them doesn't know what each other do for a living, because they are both secret agents and they are the very best of their jobs, respectively. Both of them are really good at hiding their jobs, and even though they live in the same house, they are hiding their equipment like their guns and all that stuff that they use for the job without either of them knowing, in the very house. And they do it very good. John, who acts as an engineer at the firm where he works, received a job from his handler about a guy named Benjamin and nicknamed Tank. He is instructed to take the guy out to execute the guy. It's also coincidental that his wife also gets the same job to take the guy out by his own farm, by our own farm. But it was actually like a trap for them to get rid of each other because both of their farms where they work respectively knows that they are both couples, and they don't like that because they believe it's bad for business. So it's actually a decoy, to get them each to kill one or the other. So John was talking to Eddie, who was like a friend to him, telling him that a girl made him not to get the mission through, and the same thing with Jane, who also discussed that a stranger, destroyed the mission, so she couldn't get it through, and she was given the assignment of taking out John in 48 hours. But they both happened to end up finding out who was the person at the place that caused the obstruction for the mission not to go through successfully. So they both decided to meet each other, but they both acted like they don't know anything, like what's going on, and they try to play cool, but they ended up finding discovering that each of them knows. So they both went for a weapon and the fight, and it happens that she took a car and left while John chased after her, and John ended up crashing in the car. So he discussed this with his friend Eddie, and he said that he just doesn't trust her one bit because she could have lied about everything in the relationship. And Jane also discussed this with a friend, and a friend advised her to kill him. So they later went to the house, Jane and her team, and they took everything from the house. John later came and found out that everything, his weapons, everything had been taken. So he went to the building, where Jane is, but she already knew he's coming. So she before he could get to them, she exited the building and burned all the information. And John later got a little bit of information so that he could know where. So through the information, he went to the place where Jane has relocated and her team, but Jane already knew he was coming. I was in the elevator and Jane told him to leave town or she would blow the elevator. And he said, let her blow it, but it was all bluffing. So Jane accidentally blew the elevator, but luckily for John was not in that very elevator, even though she thought he is dead, but he's safe. So she later went to a hotel, was having a drink and crying, thinking John is dead, but later he showed up. Yeah, and they had a little bit of discussion and they went for a dance. And when they were dancing, so Jane later moved away from the dance due to the fact that she got upset, and but John was suspecting her of something, and eventually he was right. There was an explosion, and John laughed, knowing exactly what's going on. He had a bomb on him, but it was lucky somebody told him, so he took his shirt off and it exploded before it could explode on him. So he chased her, and they decided to meet at the house. And before they got there, they were discussing, like asking each other what if the other truly loved the other. But John said that he actually loved her. So they got to the house almost at the same. So they both got weapons to attack each other, and they started fighting, shooting at each other. Eventually, they ended up pointing a gun at each other, and each of the other cannot shoot the other. So they ended up having a kiss and a Glock 3000. Later, neighbors interrupted them to ask questions, but they said everything is okay. So later, they started discussing secrets about themselves that neither of them know, but they were attacked by their government agents, and they found a way later to escape. You know, even though they sent a bomb inside the place, but they later escaped, and they got away alive. So they later found the minivan which they escaped with, and John's friend was offered a bounty to kill John, but he turned it down. So they were later on the road with the minivan they stole, and they were discussing a little, and it happens that they were also being followed by their government agents in 3 cars that attacked them, and they started fighting again. So Jane took the wheel, John went behind, and he started shooting, and they started having a little bit of, this and that, and they got away through Jane. Yeah. So they met with Eddie to discuss the current situation, but Eddie told them that their company is responsible with trying to get them down, so they either split ways or they give their company something that will make them leave them alone. But they decided that they should get this Banks guy for their company so that they could possibly leave them alone. So they later went to the place where the guy is held, and they later successfully got him out of the place, and they were interrogating him about why their company wanted to get rid of them. So the guy told them that 2 agents working for different companies living under the same roof is bad for business, so that's why the company wanted to split them up. While they were interrogating him, they later discussed the guy has a tracker on his belt, and they were attacked by the company, but before they got themselves ready and decided to fight, because they decided that if they kept on running, they would keep on following them. So they successfully got out of there, and they went to the counselor again, and that's it. Like, comment, subscribe.